What's up, guys? Pedaling Pastor here. We're out for another commute to work. Should you commute by bike to work? That's the question that we're going to talk about this morning. That is our rolling thought. Thanks for coming along. It's going to be a good ride. We got beautiful weather this morning. It's about 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Beautiful sunshiny day, and it's going to be great. Today is Bike to Work Day. This is the month of May, which is Bike Month here in Kansas City, I guess maybe nationally. So we're biking to work. If you've never commuted by bike to work, I would encourage you to do so. And there's some many benefits. But is it worth it? Yes. If your commute is not that far, yes, I'm absolutely certain it would be worth it for you to try out bike commuting. How did I get started bike commuting to work? Well, I had been riding the Lion Creek Trail frequently and building up my mileage, and then a friend turned me on to the Run, Walk, Jog app, and which you can also record your bike rides. And I realized that I was riding about 8 miles on the local trail on average, and just kind of just wondering how far is my work from my house. If I'm riding 8 miles, that's a good little ways. How far is work? And I did a little Google map search and realized that I'm only 10 miles from my work. So I was like, well, I could surely do 2 more miles, but then I have to double that amount because I have to be able to return home in the afternoon. So I began over the next month to do some extra training, some longer bike rides. And one Saturday morning, I got up early, and I launched out for work. I didn't have to work that day, but I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I was able to make it there, hung out for a little bit, chatted with coworkers, drank a cup of coffee, and then proceeded to ride back home. And it took me about 2.5 hours for the complete round trip. So the ride home was much more difficult than the ride to work. So I began over the next several weeks doing more training and preparing myself for a 20-mile commute. And the rest is kind of history. I launched out in early August 2 years ago on a Monday morning, and I commuted to work. And I've been enjoying it on and off ever since. But when I can, I do it for fun, I do it for exercise, I do it to save a little money. These days, thanks to all the situations that are going on in our world, gas prices are rather cheap, so that's not really necessary right now, but it is nice to get out on your bike early in the morning, get the blood moving, circulating and flowing. It puts a little pep in your step, and you're just a whole lot more enthusiastic when you get to work because you did something fun You did something beneficial in order to get there. And so I enjoy bike commuting a lot. Is it worth it? Yes, because it saves you money. Bikes are so inexpensive compared to an automobile. Cars and trucks these days are ridiculously high, but you can get a good, reliable bike, lightly used somewhere like Craigslist or Marketplace for just a few $100s. And that's maybe a little bit older, that's been well taken care of, or lightly used. That would be a nice, dependable bike for you to get back and forth to work on. So is it worth it? Well, it's going to save you money. In some cases, if you deal with a lot of traffic, it might actually be faster for you to commute by bike if you have a direct route, some bike paths or bike lanes, that you can avoid bumper-to-bumper traffic on the interstate or highway. So it might actually be faster for you. But I would encourage people, if they are physically able, to give bike commuting a chance. I realize that my commute may be a little bit farther than what most people would even consider, but anything from 2 to 5 to 8 miles should be something that people would consider to do. Those are not extremely long distances that most people could ride with a little bit of time and training. It does take some preparation. I have to get up an hour earlier each morning if I'm going to bike commute. Basically, I am leaving the house and hopping on the bike when I would usually be rolling out of bed. So it takes some preparation the night before. I try to do a bike check, make sure I have air pressure in the tires, and make sure everything's in order, make sure my light battery is charged, set out my clothes, check the weather, make sure I have the appropriate kit for the situation that I'm going to be riding in. And I get up, I get ready, I have breakfast, and then I hit the road and ride. And but if you will make the preparation the night before, it makes getting out the door in a timely manner much less stressful. I try to have my lunch already packed in the fridge and ready, so I can just kind of grab it and go. All these things just save me time the morning of the commute. But everyone is different. What works for one may not necessarily work for someone else, but these are just my tips. And at my work, many people are impressed that I bike commute. I actually work at a semi-truck dealership, and so most folks there are car crazy, and to think that someone would ride 10 miles to work each way, they think I'm pretty crazy. But also, it's become almost a celebrity. People see me come in to work and they're like, "Hey, peddling pastor, did you ride to work today?" Like, "Oh yeah, I ride to work every day," or so they seem to think. But typical goal for commuting to work, I would like to commute 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes I have to settle for just one, and then there's some weeks I'm not able to get a commute in at all. But goal is twice a week. And if I can get more, that's great. And if I get less, well, that's okay too. Life is life. Some folks are diehard and do it each and every day. That would be a lot of fun. I am just not personally in that kind of position that I can do that right now. But I commute when I can, and I enjoy it. But I think it's worth it to bike commute to work, because you get to see beautiful sunrises, just like this one, that if I was sleeping in, I would miss this, because the sun would be well risen by the time I got up to go to work. So there are some benefits, and I think seeing beautiful sunrises is worth the extra effort. So happy bike to work day. I hope you found these reasons for bike commuting being worth it compelling. Maybe it will motivate you and inspire you to get out on your bike and go for a bike ride. Build up those miles and maybe launch out one day and even attempt to ride to work. It could just change your life. You could become a bike commuter just like me. So hang in there, ride on, and we'll see you in the next video. Pedaling Pastor KC, over and out. Darkest night, there will be pedaling. See you, man. On the road again.